Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. So in today's video, I am finally gonna be dyeing some of my clothes brown. I have a whole little grocery bag full of clothes that I want to test out dyeing. I've never dyed clothes before, aside from doing like tie-dye on just like a white t-shirt. I've never just dyed them all one color like this before, so I'm really excited to see if it works. I have been loving brown lately, and I don't know, I feel like obviously if you guys watch my channel and know me, you know I just kind of gravitate more towards neutrals. I don't like to wear a lot of colorful clothes, so I am just very excited to give my clothes a new life. I think it's much better than throwing things away. Obviously, you should not just throw clothes away. If your clothes are really bad and tattered, you can always cut them up to be little rags, but you know, even with donating, you really don't always know if they're going to get that second life or not, because they could still end up in the landfill. So this also is such a fun way to like refresh your wardrobe, so that, you know, it's like getting new clothes without actually getting new clothes. A lot of the things that I'm going to be dyeing are clothes that I do like, but just aren't really the right color for me. So I'm hoping that dyeing them all brown will help me get a lot more wear out of them. And I'm just like really excited to see if this actually works, because I've been seeing Rit dye all over TikTok and I'm just so excited to try it myself. So let's go ahead and set up. Alright, I have 2 bags of clothes in here. This one is all stuff I need to alter at my mom's. This is my bag of clothes to dye. I've watched a lot of videos now on how to use Rit dye, and it seems like you always need a full cup of salt and a tablespoon of either dish soap or laundry detergent. I'm just doing dish soap because I have it right here, and I am not sure how much dye to add, but I'm probably gonna add a lot considering how many things I have to dye. I got some electrical tape at the dollar store today so that I can tape off my Converse and dye these brown. I really hope it works. It's gonna be definitely a bit more of a pain to do these, but definitely worth it if it goes well. So wish me luck. I am actually gonna go ahead and prep those up now, and then we can get started. I don't even remember why I got 2 different pairs of white Converse, but these are a kid size. They both fit almost the same, but I know I bought 1 pair brand new. I think it was these actually, and then I thrifted another pair that are like a women's 5 instead of a kid's 3. I think this right here is about to be the most tedious part. Okay, I wrapped those around a few times to really seal it in there. Now I just need to add some over the logo. Oh, I need to do the toe too. Hello, what the hell? There is the one. I tried to do a few layers and go over any seams so that dye won't seep through there. The logo is definitely the hardest part, but I'm gonna go ahead and do the second one off of camera. All right, we're gonna do a little before of the clothes. I also switched into boxers because I did not want to get dye on the sweatpants I was wearing, but these Kelly green little softy shorts. I have no idea how this dress is gonna take since it is tie-dye, but I wouldn't be mad if it turned different shades of brown and was more of a brown tie-dye. This is really just like, we'll see what happens kind of piece, but I love the shape of this dress. You saw me talk about it if you watched my little spring closet refresh. And then this tank top too. I love this tank top. I'm really nervous that all of that lace detailing won't take, and if so, I don't know that I'm gonna love brown and green, but like, we'll see how it turns out. I'm not married to any of these clothes, you know what I mean? So if any of it doesn't turn out, it's fine. I love this dress so much. Like, I love the shape of it and the fit, but I just do not like this green. And I'm also curious how the flowers are gonna dye, so we'll see. This is the one piece that I honestly will not be surprised if the dye does not take to, but if it at least mutes this color, I'll be happy. It's a fully laced little Victoria's Secret dress, but as you can see on camera, it is neon pink, so yeah, this is not a color I would literally ever in my life wear. And if the dye doesn't take it all, I'm considering bleaching it. I don't know. I want to do something to it to make it not this color. But that's just my big experiment piece. And then I decided last minute to throw these sweatpants in that I got at the bins recently. They're honestly just too close to my skin tone, but I love these sweatpants a lot, so I really hope that the dye takes to these well, because I've always wanted a pair of brown sweatpants. So that's all the clothes, and then of course I have my Converse as well. I have this big tub. I emptied it out. It's one of the ones from under my bed. And I'm gonna go ahead and do the salt and the dish soap first. That just seems like a lot. Okay, I'm not doing a full cup, but that's a lot of fucking salt. I actually literally bought a whole new thing of salt today just for this, because I was like, I'm not using that much of my own salt. I need literally like a teaspoon of Dawn. Now thankfully I have this sprayer. I'm letting my water get hot. Everything I've read said you need to get your water to like 140 degrees, but I don't have any temperature gauge, so I'm just gonna let it run straight from my sink because my sink gets really hot. I don't know if the camera is picking up how much steam is coming off of this, but this water is fucking hot, you guys. I put some gloves on. I'm stopping the water about there. I'm gonna go ahead and add some dye in here now. Okay, based off how things are already looking, I think I'm going to definitely add more dye and more water, just so that this can all really submerge. This is also so hot. Is it melting my fucking gloves? Looks like some of it is like already kind of taking. Let's see, I'm gonna have to really go in here and mix a lot because of how many things are in here. I do not want my things to come out tie-dye, you know? I want them to be fully saturated, so this is a little stressful.
What I didn't realize at the time, in a projector to project pictures so that you can see them, and the slides go into this disc. You know, whatever. We had like from the craft store or on Amazon. So all in all, we had 2 bedside lamps for like $10 or something. Like it was really inexpensive, and they were really cool. They told us. So I would do projects like that almost every other week or so.
Okay, so I let this all soak in here for a good like 10 or so minutes, and I put the lid on to try to keep the water as warm as possible. Honestly, the Converse are floating on their own just fine. I have kind of dunked them under a few times on accident, so I definitely think that the rubber part is going to be dyed. And I've seen like a few hacks on how to get that off. I'm overall not super worried about it. Like, again, they were very dirty white Converse anyways. I'm just gonna go in here every couple of minutes and kind of stir things around, but it's already looking really good. I just hope that the Converse take well. They're starting to get darker the longer they sit in here, but whenever I first dumped them in, it was not looking promising. So I don't know if because of the amount that I have, like, I don't know if it's like the amount of water that I maybe should have used 2 bottles of dye. Again, I was very confused on like the ratio aspect of it all, but I think for being my first time, I'm not doing too bad. But of course we won't actually know until we rinse everything out and take a look. But I feel like it's kind of pointless to keep filming me literally just sitting here moving the dye around, moving all the clothes around for the next like 35-40 minutes. So that's what's going on. I will check in with you guys. I'm gonna rinse everything in the sink. I just didn't want to dye it in the sink because I am in a rental, and although it's a stainless steel sink, I don't trust it. But I think just rinsing out in the sink will be fine. Once I rinse all the clothes out and dump the dye, I'm gonna put it back in this tub and then take it downstairs and wash everything on warm. So yeah, I'm gonna just keep listening to Miss Exo McKenna's podcast, literally the only podcast that I actually listen to the second she uploads an episode. I love her so much. She is my favorite creator of all time, currently. So I'm gonna keep watching her podcast and stirring things, and I'll check back in a little bit. brown definitely took. The tape, do you see what happened with the tape? It shriveled up. I don't know why, but these shorts did not take. So I'm just gonna squeeze as much of this out as possible. And then rinse them in the sink under cold water. I just got the biggest whiff of cigarettes. What the fuck? This is the green floral dress. Or was. I actually think this took pretty well. Something that I was expecting just from watching so many other videos was that sometimes the stitching won't take, so there are certain spots that the stitching did not take, but I don't think you'll be able to see that when I actually am wearing it, so we'll see. You can really see it on this dress. The lace did actually take. I don't know if it's gonna be brown. It could be kind of purple, but you see the stitching? Yeah, I don't love that. This is at least better than the neon pink, let's be real. Okay, once again, the stitching didn't really die on this tie-dye dress, but from what I can tell, it looks like it's decently even. Oh my god, I finally got all of the water out of the bin. So now I'm gonna just re-rinse everything and throw it back into the bin and then go throw it in the wash. I was literally having to scoop it out with a mason jar because I physically couldn't lift the bin until it was almost empty. I think my Converse, I'm just gonna let air dry. I don't even think I'm gonna wash them. This is how they're looking. I actually really like the color. It did get a lot darker than I thought it would, which I'm very happy about, because when I first dunked them in, I was like, And it looks to me, it did sort of stain it a little bit, but also my gloves didn't work very well. Look how pruny and, oh my god, girl, that looks gross. Anyways, it's not bad though. Like, it doesn't look dyed, you know what I mean? Should I take the other tape off or should I wait? I'm impatient. We're gonna take all the tape off. So I wanna see. Oh, it did so good. Hold on. The sides look great. I'm really just worried about the toes. It did so good. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm so happy. It only got on the toe a tiny bit on this shoe, but it's not bad. Okay, I think I'm gonna prop these up actually, just so that it doesn't drip down onto the rest of the shoes, but that was a freaking success, friends. That was awesome. Hell yeah. I just got everything out of the wash and I'm very excited to show you guys. It is all different, but I'm not hating what I see. So we'll start with this because it's right on top. See, this is my only worry about dyeing things, is that I didn't want it to be uneven. And there are definitely some stains, but I'm happy to say, well, they're on the back first of all, so that really doesn't matter to me. But I'm happy to say the lace did in fact dye. I was very scared it was still gonna be green. This one turned out a lot lighter than I expected, and I don't really know why. I can always do a second round. That's what I'm telling myself here, because now moving on to the sweatpants, I think I know what happened. So I decided to put more water into the bin and dump the rest of the dye in, but the clothes were already in there, and I think that's where I messed up. I should have just like fully committed, thrown all of the dye in at the same time before the clothes went in. So unfortunately, These do have some stains right there in the front, which is such a shame because these took the brown so well. They're the perfect shade of brown, but yeah, you can see the big stains are on the back there. So I could either dye these black and then it won't even matter. I don't really want them to be black though. Or I could attempt to do another round of brown and hope that it ends up a bit darker. You know, I could always do a more concentrated brown or something, or we'll just see how these go with like washing them and stuff like that. But yeah, I really, really, really like the shade of brown, so I'm very sad that these are stained because I was very excited about dyeing those, but it's fine. But my big fail, listen, I don't know what happened. I thought for sure these shorts were gonna take the dye very well. I don't want to say that they didn't because they are a different color. They're like a dark green now. It's so weird. I don't even know. I thought that these were just cotton shorts. Maybe they're not. I don't know. But these are just like a dark green now, which could be a lot worse. I'm not that mad about it, honestly. See if I ever wear them. Another weird thing that happened is that this dress did dye. I had very little hope for this dress to dye at all. So the stitching did not color whatsoever, which I was honestly kind of expecting. Still a little disappointing because it still has neon fucking pink on it, but it's not brown. It's purple. Look at it next to the brown. It's literally purple. I wasn't expecting that. I don't know why. I just thought I wasn't gonna take it all, and I don't like purple. So I think what I am for sure gonna do is get some black dye and get the kind that goes over the synthetic stuff. I don't know. I'll pop it up on the screen. It's 4 other types of fabric, and we'll see if it actually dyes the stitching. And then, since I know that it will dye, I would love to have this in black. And I think that would be a lot more promising than trying to bleach it, especially since I've dyed it. But yeah, I'm not loving the purple. I just don't like purple, what can I say? But I'm very pleased that it did dye. This gives me a lot of hope. This was my tie-dye dress. This one is very interesting to me. It has ties in the back that came undone, so 1 second. So I kind of thought that this was gonna happen, like that it would stay tie-dye, and it did, which is actually totally fine with me. I'm happy with these colors way more. This is giving more like fairy grunge, witchy type of vibes over the bright pink and orange that it used to be. So this is actually really amazing. And again, the stitching on this one didn't really color. It's kind of like an orangey, pinkish kind of color. I don't know. I'm really happy with it though. I think I'll get more wear out of it being more of this brown kind of, what do you even call this? Like jewel tone? Muted, darker colors? I don't know. But I am seriously very happy. And then the last thing, this one turned out interesting. Let me really examine this here because I feel like some areas took more than others. Or maybe it just like took weirdly. If I get black for the other dress, I might end up doing this one black because again, the stitching didn't dye and it's neon freaking green against this brown. And the shade of brown, like what is this? I'd have to like try it on and see because I don't think you can really see the stitching, but basically where it was green turned like what, I don't know. I just don't really like this shade of brown that much, with especially the green stitching. The flowers almost turned like more of a reddish color because the flowers were white, and it's like you can still see that it's green. I don't know how to explain this. I feel like the camera isn't really doing it justice, but yeah, I'm just really not digging the green stitching against this like mucky type of brown color. But when I hold it up in the camera, I'm like, it's not bad. It's just in person looking closely at it, like, yeah, that shows it a little bit better. I don't know. I'll have to sleep on it, honestly, but I think I'm probably going to end up going back and dyeing both of these black and then figuring something out for the sweatpants. Because that's really unfortunate. I think I really did just dump dye directly onto it accidentally. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be mad for these to be a darker brown either. I just do really like this shade of brown, but we'll see. I honestly feel like I can only justify going through this process if I'm dyeing multiple things, because it was a lot of work, if I'm being completely honest with you guys. Oh, you know what I could do though? I may dye this one more time brown, because this one had some marks on the back too. Nowhere near as bad, and I actually do like this brown color quite a bit, but I wouldn't be mad if this was a little bit darker either. I might redo these in the brown. Like, look how different those turned out. Crazy. And then, like I said, do these black. But again, it was a lot of work. Like, it took me probably right about an hour just of dyeing the clothes, sitting there stirring them. I will say the Converse, which I'll grab in a second, they're still outside drying. Those were so much easier than I thought. I thought I was literally gonna have to hold them, and they floated pretty well because there were so many clothes like underneath them, I think. And the tape worked better than I thought it would. It worked great on the soles and on the toes, I think, because I did a few layers and made sure there weren't any seams where it could like get in there. The logo on the side is where it got a little dicey because the tape just like shriveled up and didn't really cover it, but it's not super noticeable. I'm not unhappy with them at all. I'm actually stoked. And the more they dry, the lighter they're getting. They were looking really dark, which was promising, and now they're looking lighter and lighter. Let me just grab them and stop talking about them. Hold on. So here's how they turned out. I mean, this was the big win here. Like, this made it all worth it. So you can see where the tape kind of lifted, but again, it's not so darkly dyed that you can like really tell, and I'm so impressed. I mean, they were pretty dirty white Converse already, but there's no dye marks at all on the rubber. Incredible. They are still pretty wet. I've just had them sitting outside. I didn't want to put them through the dryer or anything, but it's so funny how many different shades of brown and other colors all came out in this one dye, because they were all sitting in the bucket together. But this was a really fun experiment. I'm still, again, really happy that I tried it so that I could give all of these clothes some sort of new life. And as much work as it was kind of fun. It was just a little more than I anticipated, but I also think that if I did it in smaller batches, for one, I wouldn't have to use the full bottle of dye, and for two, it would be a lot easier to manage, and all I would have to do is kind of stand there and stir it, especially if I did it on the stove versus a giant bucket, because that was seriously a lot, especially once I was done and had to get rid of all the dye water and everything. It was a task. But yes, I'm also really hoping that none of the dye stays in my washer and dyes my other clothes. I have everything on cold though, just in case, but I will be very upset if brown dye gets on other clothes because it's still like in my washer, if that makes any sense. Definitely keep you guys updated if I have any issues with that. I will definitely be doing it again. I think there are ways I could improve, mainly just my ratio. I feel like I didn't have enough brown in that big bin, to be honest, but it was overall decently successful, and I'm excited to be able to wear these clothes now and get more use out of them because they're much more in my color palette now than they were before. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you have ever used Rit dye and have any tips for how I could do better, let me know. Oh, one other thing I know was that I didn't use the like aftercare stuff that is supposed to lock the dye in there before you wash them. I didn't even know that was a thing when I first ordered the Rit dye. I found that out once I started watching all the tutorials, and I was like, oh, I didn't buy that and I don't plan to. But I mean, maybe I'll try that too next time. But that's all. I'm rambling on. I love you guys so much. I will see you in a video very, very soon. Bye.